Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of In Moderation. Today, I am here with my friend Anna.
Hello.
Anna and I met about a year and a half ago. We met through some common friends, some common interests, and our friendship has turned into something crazy. So, tell us about yourself, where you're at, what you're doing. Give us the rundown.
Yeah, no, it's so funny because I think the very first time I met you, you actually we were going to a party and you handed me your phone and you were like, "Let's be friends." And then it was like Snapchat pulled up and I was like, "Okay."
We're gonna do
For
it.
sure.
You have no choice.
But anyways, yeah, I'm a senior at James Madison University. Go Dukes. Um, I'm a health science major, but I want to be a dietitian, so I'll probably do that in my master's. I work out, I run a lot. Um, I don't know what else to say. I've completed my first marathon last year. I don't want to toot my own horn because that's really annoying.
No, toot the horn. You ran a damn marathon, girl. She ran a
I
marathon.
know, but people are always like, people wouldn't run marathons if they couldn't talk about it, and I'm like,
Tell them
I get embarrassed.
your time because it was fast.
I know. It was like about average. It was 4 hours and 30 minutes. 28
4
minutes.
hours.
Sorry.
Okay, come on. And how many miles is it?
26.2.
26.2 miles this girl ran.
Yes.
Crazy.
I know. It was honestly such a hard experience.
What made you want to do that?
I just think I grew up and I was always a runner. Um, and I would come home from my practices at school and high school, and we wouldn't do enough running, and I would go home and I would want to get my running in after practice. And so I've always just loved running, and I think it was just kind of like one of those things I wanted to do in my lifetime, and I was just like, I want to do it now. I don't want to have it hanging over my head, and I was like, I think it'd be so cool to do it, and see how far I can push my body, which is crazy.
It
Thinking
is.
about it now, I drive for 30 miles, and I'm like, damn, how the hell did I do that?
That's crazy.
It's insane, but it was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
So preparing for that and then doing it, accomplishing it, did you feel any change within yourself in that process, start to finish?
100%. It was actually very humbling because I'm usually I can just kind of I'm one of those people that can really just force myself to do things when I don't want to do them. But when I got to mile 18, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. How am I going to do 10? What is it? 8, 6 plus 8 more miles left,
Mhm.
8.2 miles left. And I was like, there's how? And I just remember the pain. So I think it really just kind of, it changed me for real, because now I'm like, God, I could do anything. I'm ready for more. And so then I think I transitioned from the running, my running goal, because I had completed a marathon. I was like, all right, I completed that goal. So now I want to complete more goals in the gym, like benching a plate. So I completed that, and now my next goal is to do 10 pull-ups. So it's about setting goals, you know what I mean?
So you value setting goals like I do. How do you think this plays out when it comes to staying accountable to achieving those goals and managing that with all the other things that you do in your life?
I think it's really easy for people to not make things a priority. And if you really care about something, you'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just finding something that you actually really enjoy doing. For me, I really enjoy running, and I actually really enjoy weight training. So I'm kind of more of a hybrid athlete. But I think it's just find something that you like doing, because you'll want to do it more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
If you don't know what you like, how do you start to figure that out?
I think you just have to try. multiple different things. Like I've tried it all, honestly. Like I've tried all the workout classes you can think of. I've done Barry's Orange Theory. I've done spin cycle classes, Peloton, like you name it, and I've tried it. And I hate spin. I hate that shit. I literally, it gives me so much anxiety. I'm like, this is so hard. And like, my dad's really good at like the bicycle, like the Peloton thing. And I can't. Like, I just hate it. And so, like, I don't do it.
Mm.
But I think you just have to try everything once and then, like, maybe don't try it just once, maybe try it twice just to see, because like maybe you got a bad instructor the first time, like you just never know. Just trying new things.
Totally. I'm looking at your microphone because I want to make sure it's still green. Okay, yeah, we're
Oh
good.
yeah.
Okay, just a slight intermission,
I
but
thought you were looking at it because I was holding it like this, because this is how I drink like drinks, with my pinky out. I'm like, relax, Hannah.
no, the button's just here, so don't press too hard.
Yeah, this is the button, right?
It's right below this little clip thingy where your thumb is.
Oh, that's the button.
Yeah, so just be careful there. Anyway.
Yeah.
So goals are great.
Yes, goals.
Challenging yourself is great.
Yes.
Finding new things is great. So I want to talk about how you have surrounded yourself with people who help support you work towards those goals.
Right. I think honestly, JMU really kind of values activity a lot, especially in the UREC, like our recreational center. And I think I am just in that place religiously, and you naturally start to know people, you see people, and I mean, it's like, it's simple, like it's not that simple because it can be very scary, but like maybe approaching people in the gym and like talking to them. I know, like I've never done that, to be honest with you, but that would be a really good thing to do.
But I think you are like a very social person. Like the reason I met you is because when Delaney shadowed you.
Exactly. You're right.
And I remember like I lived with Delaney at this point, and she came home and she was like, the girl I shadowed was so cool. She just talked to me like the whole time. She was so cool. She's so easy to talk to. I think she's going to come out with us this weekend. So I feel like you're better at that than you give yourself credit for.
Thank you. Thank you. I do tend to talk people's ears off, especially if I'm going through something and I have something to talk about. You will not get a word in because I will be just talking. I'm a very like expressive person. Like I like to say like my face looks like an emoji because I can't hide anything on it.
Right.
Like, and whether that's a good or a bad thing. But I definitely do think like maybe I am a little more social than I am, but like I said, like I feel like I met you outside the gym, so I don't like put it with the gym.
Yeah.
Even though technically it was because of the gym that I met you.
It's weird. Like once you start to like get involved and do things that you enjoy doing, like you find so many people who are more similar to you than compared to when you're doing things you don't really want to be doing.
Yeah,
at least in my experience.
Totally.
So I feel like as friends, you and I, looking and reflecting on our friendship, we have this, I feel like, level of respect towards each other that allows us to both do our own thing. Like you will not catch me dead running a marathon. No, you won't. You won't. But at the same time, we also make sure we make time together. We'll have dinner together, go out together, watch a movie together. And for me, as I've found more friends who have that level of respect and those kind of boundaries, that's become a friendship quality that is super important to me and something I seek out in new friends that I make. So for you, since you have become more aware of yourself and what you're doing, like, can you walk us through that journey of like becoming more self-aware and how that then translated to your friendships, your relationships, and like how you move through the day?
Totally. I think also like, for my entire life, it wasn't until like junior year of college that I really, started to find my people and like people who wanted to hang out with me. And I think what made me self-aware in a relationship was like I was so tired of like always being the one that would like um make the plans or like say, hey, we should like catch up. And like, I've gotten to the point now where it's like I have people who haven't talked to me for months and they text me like, hey, like, what are you up to? And I'm like, I texted you and you left me like on red. Like, that's like 5 months. Like, I think it's like I've made the quality of myself, like, you have to make the effort. Like, you have to say yes to things even when you don't feel like it.
Mm.
Now, if you're like really not feeling it, like, I totally get that. So I think like that's a big quality for me now is like really just making time for those friendships because I think I struggled with that a lot in the past and I was very like self-centered in that way where I was like, oh, I'll just get to them later. I'll get to them later. And then when it came down to it, I was like, really? I don't have that many friends. But like no one has that many friends because you have to make the friends,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like you have to put the effort into those relationships. And I feel like so many times like people don't do that because it's a lot of work.
Definitely.
You have to go out of your way to care about someone that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which is hard. Because it's
yeah.
hard to just care about you sometimes.
Yeah, literally.
So how do you manage knowing when you need to save that energy and dedicate time back to yourself versus when you should push yourself out of your comfort zone a little and be like, you know what? Yeah, like I don't really feel like it right now, but I'm gonna do that because I feel like afterwards I'll be really glad I did that.
Right. So I think for me, like right now in my life, so much of my time is spent doing work like schoolwork and like going to the gym and like getting in these like habits of like life is just like you're just going through the motions. And I think when I am like, okay, I'm just bored, is like when I need to start breaking it up and being like, maybe not like doing the same thing every single Friday night, like maybe trying something different, maybe going for a hike. Like me and my roommate last semester, like we went for a little hike and it was actually so fun and so refreshing. I mean, I was deadly hungover, but like it was great, And I think it's just like about doing things that you like wouldn't wouldn't have done and like they take energy, like going apple picking with your friends. Like everybody's always like, let's do this, let's do this. No one actually does it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds so great in theory, but no one ever does. Like, and I want to get better at that, like actually making things happen. But it's hard to get people to say yes at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forgot the question.
No, you're perfect. You're totally on
Okay.
track. Yeah, we were talking about how you balance
Yeah.
yourself and your friendships. So I think the saying yes thing is great. How do you know, like, say you've had this long week and you're drained? Maybe you had plans. Like, how do you gauge if you're going to cancel the plans or if you're going to power through? Like, what signs is your body giving you? Like, what feelings are you having that are going to differentiate you from staying out versus pushing out and
I
going?
think it's about having a really good relationship with yourself. You really have to be in tune with yourself and um kind of just know your body. Like last night you texted me, we were going to go see the sunset one of these nights, we were.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just didn't really work out because we were both like, you were like, I'm hungry and I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of tired too. And like it just didn't really work out. And like I kind of knew like, it's really really hard to be like, for me at least, it's really hard for me to say like no to like a night out.
Same.
um but at the end of the day you have to remind yourself like there's tomorrow too.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's also about like finding that balance. Like maybe if you wake up and you get your productive Friday, like it'll be more fun, like if you're not always going out and like
Mm-hmm. Feeling terrible and tired and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, and it'll just be more fun, like to save your energy and stuff. So I think it's just you have to really know yourself and
Mm-hmm.
like assess like how tired you really are. And like also another thing for me is like if I know when it's time for me to stop hanging out with like people, because like I'll just get kind of quiet, like I won't have much to say, like I'll just want to kind of sit in my bed and scroll through TikTok and just be alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I also know myself pretty well though. And I think it just takes a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah. It definitely takes a lot of time to like get on that level of being so in tune with yourself where you can be confident in knowing, yes, I'm gonna go out or no, I'm gonna stay in and like feeling good
Yeah.
about that decision. So people who aren't yet like that in tune with themselves, like they maybe ignore the signs or like they don't really know what it means to be like in tune. What do you mean when you say that? Like how do you get in tune with yourself? Like how do you start noticing the signs?
I think it'll happen physically first. Like my freshman year of college and even a little bit of my sophomore year, like I was just always sick. Like I had a cold, a congestion, and like I was just tired. And I think those signs are like trying to tell you something. And like my gut was all messed up, and like I was stressed and anxious, and I would have these panic attacks. And I'm like, it was kind of just like a big adjustment as well. But I think, the farther you get into college and the more you grow, like the more your mind gets more mature and stuff. But it's a really tricky thing, because like our bodies honestly can tell us so much.
Agreed.
We just don't listen.
So much. And it's hard to listen.
It
It's really
is
hard.
really hard. It should not be this
No.
hard.
Like sometimes you just really want to go out, but like deep down, like I gotta sleep.
Yeah. And I think it's that mentality. Like a lot of the time, people in the generations like above us are always telling us, this is the best time of your life. And
Mhm.
I'm like, this is not the best time of my life. This is just a time of my life that I'm having a lot of fun and like, I'm free and stuff. But there's going to be multiple different times of my life that I'm going to be having the best time of my life. And I think that's what puts a lot of pressure in college of like always going out and always being wild and crazy when
Mhm.
you kind of have to just like take a step back and be like, whoa, I am in my 20s, like chill, like just rest. Like there's going to be many of other chances for me to have fun. If I need to take a rest tonight and like heal and stuff, like
Mhm.
do that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's hard to find that.
Yeah.
I agree though.
Like it's so annoying when people are like, college is the best time of your life. I'm like, college is great, but it's so stressful.
Yeah.
Like you just have no idea what is coming your way. No idea. And it gives me so much anxiety. And then it gives you that weird pressure of like, better go crazy, like
Right.
now, because I won't later. And that's just so not true. Because I have two older siblings, and one of them is 26, the other one's 24. So they graduated college, they had a great time in college. And like, would you guys go back to college if you could? And they're like, hell no. And I'm like, but I thought it was like great. I thought it was, they're like, I have money now and I have like time, like you can chill more and stuff.
Mhm.
So
It's crazy to think that maybe we won't want to come back to college. Like right now, I don't
yeah,
want to leave.
me neither.
I
Me
don't want to leave.
neither. I'm so sad.
I know.
But I am tired of the schoolwork. It's a lot of work. But I like learning at the same time.
I think you can continue to be a learner even post school. I mean,
For
like,
sure.
even in your daily life, when it comes to learning things like how to get in tune with yourself or learning maybe different hobbies that you enjoy by trying new things, like, I think that's a big part of it too. Figuring it all out is being open and wanting to continue to learn in
For
every
sure.
aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be so surprised what you can learn from like even like people you thought you would never learn anything from. I always love like I feel like like growing up I started going to therapy
Hmm.
in like 5th grade. So like I have been the talker for since then. And like I have my mom, so I talk her ear off. So usually in my other relationships, I really just kind of enjoy listening. And not that I would give good advice, but I like to listen, I enjoy that. And like I always know at the end of the day, like if I don't get to talk, like I can talk to my mom or anyone else, but I still just enjoy listening and hearing about other people's journeys and like what they do in their life and stuff like that.
You
I
can
think it's
learn so
fun.
much, yeah, just from that. That's why I love like talking to people on the podcast because like I'm
Yeah,
learning so much
it's
about you
so fun.
guys.
I know, because we wouldn't normally sit down and have a deep conversation like this.
Yeah.
I mean, like we would a little,
It's
but
just less like serious.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, for sure. So
So you mentioned you've been seeing a therapist since fifth grade. That's something I really struggle with. I want to go to therapy so bad, but I have this like therapy fear. So
that's so true.
what is it like? How does it help you? What do you feel like? Like talk about that.
So I have OCD. Like, let's get that out of the way. As obsessive compulsive disorder diagnosed, and it started when I was younger, and I had like, wow, I'm really opening up, but I had like, I don't really care, like, everyone knows. But I had these like attachment issues with my mom, like, and like I couldn't like sleep without her, and like I would flick the light switch multiple times or like close the doors, or if I turned around that way I had to turn around the other way, and like it was really really frustrating growing up because everyone else was normal and like I was not, and it was just so frustrating, and I remember feeling so alone. And my mom saw these tendencies and she was like, all right, this is not normal, because she's got three other kids and she knows like that's a little strange. So she put me in therapy at age, how old are you in fifth grade? 12?
Probably around there.
11, 12. And I hated it. I was like, I went to every session and I was like, I'm fixed, right? Like, this is it. Like, if I do this, like this. And for a long time there, I never really believed like that it worked, because I was like young. Like, I feel like it takes so much mental growth to understand actually like what's going on. And then when I got to high school, I had a really tragic loss my sophomore year of high school. And that's kind of when like I rekindled my relationship with my therapist, and we became like really tight, and I would go weekly and I understood it more. And like the older I got, the closer I got with my therapist, and the luckier I realized I realized how lucky I actually was to have her. And we kind of just formed this relationship that like she's honestly like my grandma now. It's very unprofessional. But I mean, we've been working together for so many years. She knows me better than I know myself at this point, because she's seen me since I was a little baby. And so yeah, I think it's really hard to find a good therapist, especially now, because it's, with social media, it's very advertised, and so a lot of people are looking for therapists, but like the
Mm-hmm.
good ones can be booked. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it just takes time to really find a therapist, and you have to be really like mature enough to know like mentally mature enough to know like this person's not out to get you, they're just trying to understand you.
Mm-hmm.
So
So true.
yeah.
So seeing a therapist for this long, like, how does it? Does she?
Yeah.
Does she?
Yeah.
Does she? Has she given you like things that have changed the way that you move about your daily life?
For sure. I mean, I think the older I got, the more I realized how not alone I was. And she really, honestly, like, I've kind of surpassed a lot of people because of starting at such a young age and being so aware. She's helped me really work through a lot of things that I see a lot of people who didn't start out with therapy, like, they actually had it a lot harder than I thought they did, because when I was younger, I really felt alone. Like, because I would leave school and I'd tell everybody I had a doctor's appointment. Nobody has a doctor's appointment every 2 weeks. Like, come on, Anna, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh no, it's just a haircut today. It's a doctor's appointment today. It's like, and I was so embarrassed. But now I'm kind of like so thankful.
That's a flex
Yeah.
to be like open to sharing your biggest like vulnerabilities and
Yeah.
insecurities with somebody, and like being open and willing and wanting to make those changes to improve yourself. Like
Yeah.
that's very admirable.
I know. I just don't want any little girl to have to go through what I went through, because it sucks.
Yeah.
Because your brain's just not like, it's not grown enough to know the difference between false and true.
Mm-hmm.
So you just think these things are going to happen to you, and it's like the worst feeling. and all you want to do is be normal and have a sleepover with your friends. But you can't do that because you're too afraid to sleep over without your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think going through those tough times at a young age, I'm grateful now. But I do look back at that little girl and I'm like, I feel so sorry for you. Like, it's going to be okay, Anna.
So you led me perfectly into the last thing I'm planning to ask you today. If you had to go back or had the chance to go back and tell, I was going to say your freshman year of college self some advice, but
Oh,
if you could
I
go
would.
back to
Yeah.
that little girl and tell her something that you know now, what would you tell her?
Honestly, I would just tell her that, like, one day you will be so mentally stable that you'll be so independent that like you won't, like, it's gonna surprise you how independent you really become. And I think I would also tell her, like, everybody's human,
Mm-hmm.
and like don't set unnecessary expectations for other people, like, and if they break them, like, people are human. And I'd probably tell her to, like, work on herself a little. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't. But like, I think I would just give her a hug and just tell her, it's gonna be okay. Like, everybody, there's a lot more people out there who have mental illnesses that you just don't know about yet. You just found out yours at a younger age, and it feels alone now. But most people's don't develop until later because, like, a lot of the childhood trauma, like, that kind of thing. It just
Mm-hmm.
comes out later in, like, their teenage years, whereas mine came out when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, like, easier. And it was easy at that time too because my mom was able to make decisions for me that I now, like, if I was older, I don't know, because I'd be like, well, I'm not talking to a stranger. Like, it's really hard to start when you're older because you're like, why would they need to know my business?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know. It's a tricky thing.
It's amazing. It's life.
I
We're
know.
growing. We're
I know.
learning.
So anybody studying psychology,
Unpack me like a
yeah.
box. That's all I'm saying. If you got a psychology degree, bring it over here.
I mean, I'm not saying, like, I'm still completely mentally, like, stable all the time, but
We're all a little crazy.
yeah, but like, I've got the tools in my box,
Mm-hmm.
to deal with those moments when I really do actually have a panic attack. Because I do suffer from a lot of that, like the panic attacks, the classic, like, you get stiffened up, that kind of thing. But I've got the tools now to deal with that. So,
Do you want to share a tool or a technique or something before we skedaddle
um,
on out of here?
I think like a tool for me, like, is to quickly, like, snap out of it. Like, if I feel it coming, I'll just be like, this is your OCD. It's not you, it's your OCD. Like, that is not you.
Mm-hmm.
That thought is not you. That's just a thought. Let it go. And if that doesn't work, and like I really do get to the point of a panic attack, I will call my mom. Um, and she'll usually walk me through it. She'll say the same thing that I said to myself. But I mean, you're typically, like, you're not supposed to look for reassurance with OCD, but I've just found, like, it's really helped. Because, like, yeah, like the whole obsessive reassurance, like, you got to break the pattern, you know what I mean? And that's really hard for an OCD person to do. But yeah, I think that's, like, the main tool, is just separating reality versus, what's it called?
Like the mental, like you are not
Falseness.
the mental
Yeah.
illness or whatever,
Yeah.
not illness, but whatever you
Yeah.
may call it. It's not you. It's just
Yeah,
something
part
that's
of me.
part of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of this big, beautiful brain.
My Anna girl. Anything else you would like to
No, this was actually so
share,
fun.
add? I'm so happy that
I
you
can't
said
wait
yes.
to listen to this. I
Me
can't
too.
wait to, like, send it to my mom.
We love our moms over here.
We do. Love
Shout
your
out.
mom, honestly, and
Mhm.
appreciate her more.
Yeah.
They deserve more appreciation. Not
Call
just
your mom
Mother's
today.
Day. Yes.
Tell her you love her.
Tell her you're proud of her, honestly.
Seriously, it'll do a lot because your mom does a lot. We got
Yeah.
off on that tangent, but it's important.
Yeah, we could probably talk about that for like an hour.
We could keep talking for a while, so this will be our time that we let you escape the conversation. So Anna, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And we will talk to you next time on In Moderation, where we practice all things balance. See you
Woo!
guys.
That was so fun.